create, that can, drive impact. Now let's, also, I can see the speakers on the screen. Also now, let's talk about why this discussion is important today. Because, we are living in an era where machines aren't just assisting us. You would agree, they are practically, running the show. From factories that think for themselves to supply chain, that predict problem before they occur. Industry 4.0 is not just about digitization or plain digitization. No, it's about building intelligent, self-learning systems that are making industry smarter, faster, and more resilient. We'll talk more during the discussion. But here's a real question: how do we move beyond flashy tech demos and actually bring these innovation life at scale? This is very important and crucial point, because let's be honest, creating an and Yagandeep, you would agree with me, creating an AI powered factory in a lab is one thing. Making it work seamlessly across industries is a whole different ball game, right? So that's exactly why we are here today, to break down how AI, automation, and connected technologies are not just transforming industries, but doing so in a way that's practical, scalable, and impactful. So we'll without further ado, we'll deep dive into the discussion. I can see all our speakers here, but let me also quickly share a personal experience just to put everything into perspective. Earlier this week, a few days ago, I had a chance to witness something really incredible firsthand. Mahakumbh, as they say it, the world largest religious gathering held in India. For those unfamiliar, Mahakumbh is a massive pilgrimage festival that takes place every 12 years. This one took place after 144 years, as it was advertised, right? Attracting millions of devotees who gather for the sacred Sahi Shnan, royal bath, as they say it, in the holy river. This time, please pay attention. This time, a staggering 640 million people participated. Yes, you heard that right. 640 million people, 64 crores to be precise. Now, to put that number into perspective, 640 million people attended this year. That means nearly twice the population of the US. That's like the entirety of Europe coming together in one place. And even if we combine the population of UK, Canada, Australia, we would still need a few millions to match the scale. We wouldn't have to borrow some people from New Zealand, right? Now, if that doesn't scream scale and coordination, I don't know what does. While I'll tell you the point. What I'm trying to make here is, while I went for the spiritual experience, what truly amazed me was the sheer scale of technology and automation ensuring everything ran smoothly. I was surprised and amazed to see that kind of coordination, especially by bringing IoT AI devices into picture. With such an enormous crowd, managing security, logistic, and resources seemed like an impossible task. But as they said, AI and automation played a critical role. You know, I was fortunate to talk to some of the officials there, got to know AI powered crowd analytics, actually help predict movement pattern and avoid congestion there. Computer vision and drones were being used to monitor real time crowd density, enabling smart security responses. The other application I noticed was AI driven traffic and route optimization that ensured smooth transportation for millions who were traveling or attending the city. And last, the automated water distribution and waste management kept resources efficiently allocated, right? So, if so, my point is again, if AI can handle an event of this magnitude, imagine their impact on factory floors, global supply chain, and and industry automation, to be precise. All right, now since I believe we have all our attendees and I have all your attention now, let's discuss what's in store for today. First we kick off with a power packed panel discussion where industry leaders will deep dive into how AI and automation are driving the next phase of industrial evolution, as we say it. Then we move to an exciting startup pitch session where innovators will showcase how they are translating these concepts into real world applications. Right now, so I have questions for everyone ready. Now that we have set the stage with why industry 4.0 is such a game changer, let's dive into the panel discussion with our incredible speakers. We have joining us today, we have Santosh Pandey, General Manager Industry 4.0 at Aditya Birla Group, driving digital transformation across industrial operations. Welcome, Santosh. We have Yagandeep, Manager Startup Engagement at Mighty NASCOM Center of Excellence. He's been truly exceptional in driving various startup engagement programs and is currently working on lots of cutting edge use cases. We also have Niharika, CEO of Volar Alta. Niharika, can we have you on the screen, please? And all
Yes,
right,
I'm there. Can you see me?
all right, I can, yes, we can see Niharika. And we have Markant and Chinmaya, the co founders of Anedya. Can we have all our speaker for once on the screen, please? All right,
Yeah, hello everyone.
all right. We have everyone. Okay, let's get started. And before just a brief call. We are keeping this discussion light, engaging, and packed with real world applications so that everyone who has turned out today can relate to the insights and takeaways. And what you can expect a fun and informative conversation where we break down complex topics, share practical use cases, and maybe even have a few laughs along the way. So let's make this webinar session exciting and insightful for all. All right. So Santosh, let's start with you. Let's begin with you. Yagandeep has been talking so high of you. You have been, instrumental in transforming factories into smart, safe, and sustainable environments, right? And there is a lot of discussion about Industry 4.0 in terms of automation, efficiency. But, I would say we all would agree safety is just as critical, especially in large scale manufacturing, right? So our question to you is, could you, share some specific examples of how Industry 4.0 technologies have actually enhanced safety protocols within your facilities? Over to you.
Absolutely, Naman. I think it's the most important and paramount topic in the boardroom also, and also means every value chains, the fundamentally the responsible industries, the safety is the topmost priority. And we for uh, means justify this topic, we not only cleans to industry 4.0, let's go a little before where the era of the industry 3.0 started, essentially in the process industries where the west coast is booming with the oil and gas explorations and everything, petrochemicals, pharmaceutical getting shaped into, and then the era of automation came, which is essentially the part of industry 3.0 where controllers era getting integrated to manufacturing. Surprisingly, very few of us is aware of the fundamental need of this industry 3.0, which is not very much talked on. It actually because of the safety per se, because the second industrial revolution, where you put electricity as a prime mover of a step change into productivity, that has given a lot of benefit, but surprisingly the incidents, safety incidents in the industries got skyrocketed. And they are the need when the electronics industries are flourishing and the controller on in place, the fundamental need from process industries came. Yes, we want to be productive, efficient, but fundamental issue that whole safety, health, and environment side of the equation, how we are going to crack this code. And there, this things started, be it the concept of the process safety analysis, safety integrity levels into the industries and all, right? Be it the LOPA layer of the production and all, these all started integrating in that era. Moving towards industry 4.0, many people get the fine line and blur differences, how it is differing from the automations and all. Here the critical component or the active mass is coming from the data. Every industrial revolution is having some critical mass factor, and here it's coming from the data, be it from the sensors, we call it the time series data, be it from different events and all, because we need to be very vigilant in any plant, a similar asset, one asset may be reactor. It is responsible for generating the productivity, the quality, its reliability, its energy performance, and it is also causing some of the self and safety and health hazard also. So these type of, we can bucketize the data into the by the function of its, but by the behavior of the data also, and these all data is related to that similar assets. So industry 4.2, where data is the critical mass factor, it is the revolutionizing the way of working, way of doing, and way of thinking. There probably we are into the era of not, safety is not at all now as a reactive topic which can be analyzed. Now, the industries which working in the process area and all, like us, we work in the area of like cement, metals, chemicals, petrochemicals and all, paints, right? So there, these data is actually giving us a real power. It's giving us the real power what it can predict it. And since I already told you, the performance of the plant operation and business cannot be seen into the isolations, right? Risk is one of the important factor, and safety is the paramount in that risk and all, right? So with that one, probably the technology like vision analytics, like, few of our plant where they in the reactor, they build the whole deep learning based model of their flame profiling. It can give you not only the operational side of the quality variation with those temperatures, and also it imbibe the modeling of all equipment process safety constraint also, so that one can actually predict that with the remaining useful life, remaining useful safety index also of the equipment, one can know that. So these types of the empowerment with the vision analytics, it's coming. Also, like the data which is coming with the regular behavioral practices. Few of our businesses is using the IoT wearables, which probably track all type of the vitals of the persons, whether they are working at the work at height, or whether they are entering into some of the geo-fenced area where they are not allowed to enter. These all type of the live dashboard is access to different hierarchy, because safety is everyone's responsibility, and that type of culture we have developed into the organization, so that where the technology control is giving the idea what is happening, but administrative control is becoming the responsibility and accountability of the person itself. So in that manner, a lot of interventions with the industry 4.0 technologies already getting integrated with, and it's becoming part of the culture, right? Where
Yeah.
people are the paramount and technology is becoming enabler on that. So that's all say I'm saying. It's more or less like the era, it's changing our way of thinking, way of working, and way of doing all three to simultaneously to create the value. And safety is, nonetheless, I couldn't agree more. It's not for only us, and most of the leaders which I interacted, it is one of the most important parameter they are looking into.
No, no, no. Very, very interesting take, Santosh. Thank you. Thank you. In fact, I completely agree that, Industry 4.0 and also similar technologies are actually becoming a part of our culture, right? And no one can ignore it any longer now. And especially the transformation that you touched upon 3.0 to 4.0 was also very interesting. We'll discuss more on it. Now, Yagandeep, let's bring you in here. A lot of attendees today are represent the startup ecosystem, right? They would love to understand from you. Startups are at the heart of innovation, but taking the idea from proof of concept to a large scale deployment is a huge leap. You've been there, you have seen all these firsthand, right? So actually, you've been at the forefront of bridging the gap between startup and enterprises. So, from your experience, Yagandeep, what are some of the key factors, that determine whether a startup is truly ready to scale and collaborate with, leaders, industry leaders like Santosh and others?
Sure. Thank you so much, Naman, for this question. So I would break this question into three part. One is how it is matched, how they can collaborate, and how they can scale. Here I would like to see that with these part I think. when we see the startups from the various categories, right, coming from, for example, the IoT startups, the startups are working on the quality inspection, machine health and monitoring, performance monitoring, predictive maintenance, and all these startups, working on the Industry 4.0 part. We try to see these startups from the lenses of industry. When we see these startups from the industry lenses, we identify three particular areas where they can, are very important from the industry perspective. Number one is the core team experience. We try to see how the founders are experienced, what kind of background they are coming from. The number two is technology readiness. What technology exposure they have, how the product is matured, and how the product can be scaled for the industries like Aditya Birla and others, because it is very important for the industry to see the scalability. And number three, I would say a very important part for us to evaluate is the industry use cases and industry case studies that startups would have undertake. So these are the 3 points we see while evaluating any of the startups.
No, that's a great perspective, Yagandeep. I hope the startups are making note of all these pointers. From the industry lens, you mentioned, right, viewing your solution, identifying their solution from the industry's point of view, and then accordingly, fine tuning their solution based on the use case, right? So that's an interesting take, and we will now like to bring in Markand, right? They are working with various companies on some specific use cases. Mark and Oak, right? There you are. So Mark, and my question to you is, we you just saw, leaders talking about IoT adoption, right? But it often comes with challenges like you would know it better, device compatibility, data integration, security concern, like Santosh just mentioned, right? Your startup Anedya simplifies this process, if I am not wrong, right, with its cloud-based platform, correct? So can you share an example, Markan, where your solution helped a business overcome these hurdles and actually achieve a seamless IoT implementation? If I have to be specific, yes.
Yes. So I would like to share one of this case study of our one of clients. So they are into this commercial cold room and cold chain manufacturing. They manufacture cold rooms, cold storages, and industrial chillers, all those machineries. Okay. They are in fact India's leading manufacturers in this segment, and they are also a listed company. Now, what they wanted to do is they wanted to provide insights to their customers about what is the performance of their equipment, what are the temperature parameters that they want to monitor, as well as they want to provide some control over the machinery from remote application or web dashboard. Okay, so that this was their requirement. The biggest challenges that they faced is, first of all, definitely because they are a cold chain manufacturing company, they are not an IT company. They are not well versed with cloud development and cloud architecture development and all that. Okay, they are also not into this application development, hardware development. So what when we came into the picture, prior to that, they were discussing with a number of players. They were thinking of outsourcing this entire project. They were also considering commercial large-scale solution providers like AWS, Azure for IoT services. When we came, we just told them one single thing, that you don't need to worry about any of these challenges. The main challenges was, so they sell about 10,000 units every year. So and if you accumulate it over a period of time, it quickly crosses 1 lakh, 2 lakh devices. Okay, and they need to make sure that every device remains online for their particular owner, and they are reachable by the remote application. The scalability issue was there. Apart from that, the security aspects was also very important, because they
Right.
were having multiple owners and there will be multiple equipments. So no owner should be allowed to access other person's equipments or other organization equipments. So security concern was very big. And when we came into the picture, we told them that you don't need to worry about anything else. Anedya provides a IoT infrastructure as a service, which basically provides an out-of-box solution for this, for the device management to provision all these devices. And the security and scalability part are built inherently into the product, into the cloud. And
Understood.
they adopted our cloud, and they transformed their entire product portfolio into the connected devices. Now they are using our backend as to store the data that is coming from their devices. They use our backend to translate messages and commands to their device to equipments. They also generate events and alerts from their equipments and notify their customers. And they built a mobile app on top of that. So they have integrated it with their service network as well. So these were the
Got it.
challenges, and this is how we were able to solve
No,
that challenge.
interesting, interesting. We'll hear more about it during your pitch, right? Now let's bring the lady on the screen. Niharika, can we have you on the screen, please?
Yes, hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Niharika. Niharika, let me ask you, the most, the hottest word in town after Gen AI would be drones, right? Drones have evolved from being just flying cameras to powerful AI-driven tools for industrial inspection now. We are actually working on some
Yes,
of these use cases. So, I've gone through your website. Your tech enhances safety, precision, and efficiency, right? But Niharika, share a real world example where Volar Alta's drone made a significant impact, perhaps in a high risk or hard to reach environment?
absolutely. So at Volar Alta, what we do is we specialize in sending drones in the confined spaces. We are also helping process industries to digitize the way that inspections are currently done. So what we're able to do are visual inspections, ultrasonic thickness measurements, thermography tests, etc. For industries like cement, chemicals, steel, oil and gas, so on and so forth. We've been doing this work over the last 4.5 years, and now we see that there is a cultural shift in the way that people are looking at utilization of drones in this case, because essentially we are eliminating the need for construction of scaffolding and exposing human beings to hazardous work environments. The process has become as seamless as if there's a shutdown, the shutdown takes place. We send the drones inside, we look at the situational condition at that point of time, and then the rest of the repair work, maintenance work, etc. gets decided. So the entire risk factor just to understand and see what's happening gets eliminated, and we're able to completely digitize that with drones. So for example, if it's a 110-meter tall chimney, right, we're able to complete the entire visual inspection of that in less than an hour, which otherwise traditionally, if you were to do it, it would take you about 17 days to do all the pre-checks, safety compliances, construction of scaffolding, then sending the human workforce, then doing the inspection, and that too, it's not practically possible for human beings to reach in tight spaces. So that's where the drones come in, and that's how we're able to bring about a massive change in the way that inspections are conducted. Not just that, it's a huge ROI to the customers as well, because 100% safety, we have delivered over 96% downtime reduction for that particular equipment, and about 80% cost savings as well. So that's the shift that we are seeing.
No, great, great. You actually touched upon the impact part, which we also wanted to hear about. So thank you, Niharika. We'll hear more during your pitch now. And Santosh, let's bring you in here. We all love to talk about Industry 4.0 transformation. इतनी सारी बातें होती है. There every other day you will hear about a session on Industry 4.0 transformation. But let's be honest, it's easier said that than done, right? Digital adoption isn't just about technology, it's about people. Implementing smart manufacturing solution requires significant organizational change. You would know it better than anyone of us, right? So what strategies have you found effective in fostering a culture that truly embraces digital transformation at all levels, right? And if I have to be specific, you know how do you, what process actually do you follow while co-creating solutions with startups like Volar, Alta, or startups like Markand and Anedya? You're on mute, Santosh.
Oh, so I was telling Naman, you hit the right nail. This is the code to crack to test the real success, actually. Fast means fostering a digital first culture for us. We used to realize, and probably this saying is very much popular for us, is like digital transformation is not technology shift. It's always mindset shift, right? So this mindset shift, how it can come, when you get into every time in the pilots, uh, POCs and everything. So we started asking our people, though we promote experimenting, but at the same time, we tell them that don't just give us the idea of the pilots and all. You do the high impacts pilot, but when you see really the IoTs, the AI, the proper model predictive control and deep learnings is creating the value, the adoption will be becoming naturals. We tell all our digital ambassadors that come up with the ideas, not saying that we are going to have the pilot. You essentially get involved, put your some of the life energy to make it successful by co-creating with the partners and hit on the value. We tell it, nail it, and scale it. That is the fundamental we say to them, that go nail it first, show your conviction, and go for a scaling up. And that is not like an individual win game. You have to have the co-creating partners. You have to have the team. We call it the fusion team, where the cross-functional team come into play. They create the problems, solutions with the mindset how it is going to become the scaling factor in the business. So that is number one things, and that is a very important cultural component. And recently, on the data and AI side of equation, we believe that we need to create a culture of the data citizenship, where even the domain expert, they will not wait in want of the data scientist or data engineers, right? How we can create the ecosystem where the ecosystem itself, they tell it, you know your data and your data knows you. So that is the citizenship culture, where everyone can collaborate, everyone share their pie, but nobody is waiting for the ask of we need them, then only we can create. You have the collaboration, but at the same time, you should not feel bereft of any ask of that. So there the technology piece is solving this equation, that how we can create the data citizenship culture and how these citizens can create the data product which can involve into the workflow of the organization to generate value in the quality, cost, safety, delivery, energy efficiency, what not you can consider on that. The third part, which I would say, the leadership buy-ins, right? Now, I think, in my opinion, very least industry who face the leadership alignment in the technology world of the industry 4.0 or industrial AI, they understand it's a disruptive factor. If they are not understanding, at least they are having the fear of missing out also. So they want to wet their shoe. But most of, I can say 80%, they realize the value and all. Ideally, in the adoption part, we found the great challenge into the middle management layer, where they have their own established way of working, and how this new interventions with the technology can change and trigger the change management. So there we come up very interesting concept of the reverse mentoring, means who are the ambassador or the the promoter of technology, and we identify who is the key stakeholder, and we map them some of the reverse mentoring ecosystem, so that how they can understand the perspective of these technologies which can imbibe with the culture. So ideally, I would say the lesson learned in that, tech adoption is not enforced, it's actually it can be only inspired. and you don't push people into industry 4.0, you pull them in with the value. And if you show the value, I think means there is no limit. Technology can be easily adopted over there.
You don't push, you pull them. Well, beautifully summed up, beautifully. And I would say, Santosh, I would like to, we would like to borrow the tagline. You said, you mentioned nail it and then scale it, right? With all your due permission, we would like to use it more often on our session. Nail it and then scale it. Yagandeep, please make a note. And with this, Yagandeep, let's round this off with you. Bridging the gap. I would say bridging. In fact, Santosh also, touched upon this part during his first answer, that bridging the gap between startup and enterprise is always a challenge, right? Startups move fast, enterprise have processes, right? And priorities that don't always align, right? But when it works, it can be a game changing. So you've been part of various success stories that we have jointly done, right? What strategies have you found effective in fostering successful co-creation between startups and corporation? And also, very important part, can you also share a success story where startup industry partnership led to a breakthrough solution? Over to
Sure.
you.
So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Naman. So I think why the bridging the gap between startup and industry is so difficult is there are three reasons. One is the speed at which as you rightly mentioned, the speed at which the startup moves and the enterprises moves. The next part is the culture, and the third part is priorities. So these three things makes that bridging very difficult. But here we are. So we play the role here of a catalyst. And as our CEO says, we are the best matchmakers available, right? So, and why we are the best matchmakers? Because we understand the pain points of enterprises and also the strengths of startups. And so that makes us very unique platform where approaching uh, the collaboration part, there are four steps that I would like to highlight here. One part is to identify that right fit between the startup and the industry, to scout that right startup, because even if we talk about one particular technology, there would be multiple startups available, but to see which startup would fit for the use case, it comes with certain challenges itself. So the next step I would say is to facilitate that dialogue between startup and the industry, to help startup understand which are the specific areas they are facing, to set the right expectations, and eventually to even see the technicality between I mean, to understand the technical stacks of both the organizations. The third steps, I would say, it's of the creating or creating a small pilot to evaluate the results. So this is very important to see the feasibility and to see the early results. How? Because once the pilot is done, we can easily scale it. And the fourth part, I would say, is the continuous mentoring and that hand-holding support. So this is the area which is very important, and these are the things which can help in bridging the gap between startup and the enterprises. And now, coming to the success stories, there are many success stories in the where we have jointly created with industries like Aditya Birla and startups like Volar Alta and Anedya. But the one success story which is very close to my heart is where the one of the large industry was facing issue with the defect identification on their tires. They are the one of the largest tire manufacturers of the country. The problem here is the defected part and the good part. Everything is black. Everything looks very same. And the similar solution, it's not existing in the country, where there are some of the solutions available in the European country, but it's very differently made for the industries in the Europe, right? So we had to work very closely with the startup, but I'm very happy and it makes me very satisfying that to see our startup could deliver on that challenge. And now this particular project is, I mean, the product is already on the shop floor in Gujarat itself. The industry is also very satisfied. So yes, this is how we are creating, and this is how we want to create more number of success stories.
So that's such a great example, Yagandeep. Was it an AI powered defect detection tool solution?
Yes, absolutely. That was on the visual AI defect
Vision based.
detection
Okay.
tool. Yes.
Mhm. Perfect, perfect. Also, Yagandeep, you rightly, touched upon the part that the ability to balance startup agility with enterprise scalability is where the real magic happens, right? And all right, it was an interesting discussion, and we'll now shift gears and we'll get ready for some exciting startup pitches where we'll see firsthand how innovation is shaping the future of industries. And then we'll be back with our discussion for the final round. So please be with us. We have Niharika, CEO of Volar Alta, showcasing sustainable, industry solutions. Niharika, over to you. You have 10 minutes to take us through some of the problem statement that you have solved, some of the use cases and your solution.
Sure. Hi. Thanks for the opportunity. Can you please confirm if you are able to see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yes, pre-commissioning drone application.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes. There is some issue with the screen share, so unfortunately, this is not going full screen. But nevertheless, maybe I'll just continue with that. So, when we talk about the application of drones in the industrial sector, right, it starts from the very first thing, which is like if it's a greenfield project, then it starts all the way from doing topographic survey for the site selection. Then, when you do the land preparation and construction, you can do construction progress monitoring. You can actually, when you do the topographic survey and construction progress monitoring, there are a lot of things that can be figured out, and accordingly, your construction can be planned. Once you start installing the mechanical structures, etc., those can also be properly inspected to see whether or not the installation has happened correctly. Then once everything is in place, before you actually commission the entire project, we did this with a couple of testing companies, and in one of these examples, we found that there was a slight bulge in one of these liquid oxygen tanks, and we were able to find that out pre-commissioning, and that saved the customer a lot of time, money, etc., because it was found out before they commission it. So this is what happens when we are talking about assets that are not already in operations space. Once the plant has been commissioned and production begins, then there is something called as operations and maintenance, where we talk about regular inspections of different kinds. In all of this, there are also multiple applications with drones that can be used for security and surveillance. For example, when the construction is going on, we can there are about 31 use cases that we are developing, where right from detection of PPE kits to ensuring that the scaffolding, etc., that has been built has structural integrity, fall arresters are in place, people are not entering restricted zones, etc. So all of that can be taken care of. And then when we get into the operations and maintenance, we look at regular inspections of different kinds that I spoke earlier. All of this combined also has a net impact on reduced carbon emissions, because the fact that you're completely eliminating one entire piece of the puzzle, where no material needs to be transported for scaffolding, etc., all of that gets eliminated from the equation, and we also have an impact on the carbon footprint accordingly. So now I would just like to give you a few examples. This is a cement clinker silo, and what we have done is, you can see it is a fairly dusty condition, but this particular drone has gone inside that asset, and what we will do is we will be able to thoroughly inspect the asset from all angles. It is also able to visit tight spaces. All we need is 50 centimeters of opening for the drone to go inside. and we are able to make a note of all of the defects that are found. For cement, we've mastered about 11 defect classes, wherein our AI tools are able to correctly identify, also assign a severity level. We are working on multiple sectors at the same time, and we definitely have NDT experts who will then vet each and every report that is given out to our customers. Now, this is what the report would look like. Of course, the images aren't unfortunately loading on the screen, but what we will be able to let you know is what kind of defect we have found, whether it is corrosion, material deposition, cracks, or any other structural issues. And we will be able to give you the exact location of that defect. And then, of course, there are a few expert comments that are given by the NDT professionals. I would like to show you another very interesting use case that we're doing, which is of ultrasonic thickness measurement. Now, this is a different drone that this is, a contact type test where the drone is actually able to make a contact with the asset, as you can see here. What happens is once we understand what asset it is, we ask the customer how many points do we want to take on the asset. We create the flight plan, the drone takes off, it goes to the first point and makes a contact. Now, till the time that the contact is not properly established, we will not be able to take the reading. So the drone adjusts itself. And once that is done, there is a couplant which gets dispensed. And then the UT probe makes contact and we are able to take the reading. Now, this is extremely important in cases where, these equipments are really tall. And for you to be able to take the readings on, let's say, an 80-meter asset, it's very difficult for human beings to do that. Uh, as you can see, this drone can also take readings in multiple angles. So it's not like keys if horizontal, neither drone will be able to do it. So this is another interesting use case which a lot of our customers, are currently adopting. The third is an example of a chimney, and you'll be able to see that this is a simple visual inspection, but the kind of details that we'll be able to derive from this, you can see it's in a fairly dilapidated condition, and it's very important for the customers to know, exactly what's happening on the roof of many of these equipment. So that's about external visual inspection. And then finally, we talk about the thermographic tests that are conducted. The idea here is to identify hotspots, if any. This is also utilized by a few of our customers to figure out temperature differences and see if at all there is any kind of leakage that is happening. This is also used in use cases like coal stockpiles, for example, where tracking the temperature of that is important to avoid that to break out into fires, right? Then there are a few other use cases like 3D stockpile volumetry, where with drones we are able to let you know the volume of the stockpiles for companies that are operating in cement, power, even construction for that matter. So this becomes easy. The entire moat here is that we want to make inspections firstly safer, faster, and better in terms of being able to capture much more data points than otherwise one would be able to. Right. So, of course, the use cases are many, and I know that I had only 10 minutes. So, I would like to just quickly touch upon the fact that we also have an entire workflow tool where we will be able to derive statistical inferences. We'll be able to ultimately help the customers realize more ROI. This is an exercise that we have done with our customers, and these are real numbers where I had already spoken about chimney, where we are able to do the same job in less than an hour. But same thing applies to multiple equipments like calciners or ducts, hoppers, cyclones, etc. And definitely, once the customer sees value, they're more than happy to adopt. So I think I would like to take a pause here and see if you have any questions.
No, those were some pretty cool and interesting use cases, Niharika. Thank you for taking us through all those specific use cases, and especially this tool wherein you're playing around the data and giving a holistic view of how the
Yes.
things have shaped up. This is also interesting. So and we'll take the questions later, and in the interest of time, we'll move to the second speaker. Right, we have Markan from Anedya. And we'll connect offline also, Niharika. We have some specific use case
Sure.
which we want to discuss. So, Markand, over to you. You know the
Yes.
drill. Over to you. Yes.
Let me share my screen. Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yes, we can see it. Yes.
Okay. So hello everyone, myself Martin, and I am from Team Anedya. We are from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. And in the simple terms, we are simplifying IoT, just like Razorpay and Stripe has simplified payments. So basically, Anedya is a cloud-based infrastructure as a service which can be used by anybody to create secure, reliable, and scalable IoT applications in the simplest and fastest way possible. So let's see what happens when any manufacturer or any OEM wants to put IoT features into their product. Okay, let's take an example of some few consumer appliances like water purifiers, smart air conditioners. It can also be industrial machines, just like I mentioned this case study. So whenever this OEM tries to put these features into their product, they basically face these challenges. How quickly they can add IoT features to their products in their machines, how they can minimize the time to the market, how they can minimize the overall cost that is involved in this development. And because security and scalability are the most important aspect of any IoT application, how they can make sure that their applications remain secure and scalable. So we basically solve all these challenges at Anedya. So here is a brief technical overview, like when Anedya is utilizing any IoT application. So on the left hand side, you have your connected devices. It can be any type of device. It can be home appliance, it can be medical device, connected vehicle, remote SCADA, Industry 4.0, connected machines, any type of device you can imagine, you can connect with Anedya. And on the right hand side, you have your user facing applications. It can be web dashboards, it can be mobile application, it can be even your cloud services interacting with your devices. Okay, so any type of service you can imagine, or application you can imagine, you can create on the right hand side. And Anedya sits between these two segments. What it provides is it provides endpoints for devices to connect. So these are industry standard protocols like MQTT, HTTP, COAP. These type of protocols are directly provided. And for the applications, we provide a vast set of APIs using which applications can interact with the devices and the data provided by devices. And rest of the things which are required for any IoT applications is directly built into this cloud. Like for example, the data storage part, data aggregation part, device management, the provisioning, over there updates, and even interacting with the devices in real time. So everything is built right into the cloud. So no configuration needs to be done from the user's perspective. Now, we designed this cloud to be very dead simple. So it's just sign up on the cloud and you are ready to connect your devices. That is the straightforward thing I can say about this Anedya. And we design it to be very fast and efficient. We can perform aggregations in sub-second latency. You can onboard tens of thousands of devices in just matter of minutes, and security and scalability parts are inherent into the cloud. So we have designed our cloud in a manner that it enforces certain security standards onto the users. They are forced to adopt certain security features for their devices. So security, we make sure that not only the cloud is secure, but we also force our user to make their devices secure. Then comes the scalability part. So we have limitless scalability. You can, if you can think of like you can onboard 1 lakh devices today itself, you can do that. The cloud will automatically scale as per your demand. Then from the user perspective, everything is as easy as 1, 2, 3. They just need to sign up onto the cloud. They basically create a device in the platform on the dashboard, and the system provides the credentials for that device, which needs to be passed on to the device, and bingo, you have a device connected. Everything that this cloud provides is now accessible to that device. And we provide a very vast set of functionalities which is required in any IoT or connected device application. First comes the device management. Device management is a very important aspect because as I mentioned that one of our client had this 10,000 device manufactured every year. And now this devices gets cumulated over the number of years, right? So every device is going to be there in the service for at least 10-12 years, and by the meantime the manufacturer might have produced another 1 lakh devices. So device management is very important in this case, and we provide efficient tools to manage devices. We provide APIs to directly integrate with their applications. They can do whatever they want to do and in an efficient manner. They don't need to worry about how these devices, large number of devices, will be handled. Then we also accelerate their hardware development process by providing SDKs for different platforms and different hardware processors. Like for example, we already have SDKs available for Espressif microcontrollers, STM32 microcontrollers. Then we have Renesas microcontrollers. These are the standard microcontrollers used in modern PLCs and any modern industrial devices. Okay, so if somebody wants to develop a firmware which talks to Anedya, it is very easy. Third point that we have is the bottomless storage. So you don't need to worry about your hard disk getting full by getting filled up by all by the data coming from devices. So we have this bottomless storage. You can scale as much as you want. You want to send data every second, every millisecond, you can send it. There is no issue in that. And aggregation is built on top of that. So aggregation is one of our USP, and it is our core strength. We can perform sub-second aggregation over millions of data points. That is our core strength. And it is not just like we pre-compute the aggregations. You can compute these aggregations on demand, and they will still happen in sub-second time frame. Then fourth thing that we have is
Arkan,
again
you need to
yeah.
quickly take us through some of the key pointers now,
Yeah,
in the
sure, sure.
interest of time.
So yes, so the next key feature that we provide is the OTA updates. Now, these products and connectivity device require firmware updates and patches, so over their operational time frame. So we have a very scalable model, like where they can issue deployments to almost thousands of such devices. So overall, the impact of this overall architecture is that you don't need any cloud engineer, any cloud team to develop your IoT application, and because you have a ready stick available, your entire cloud integration time is reduced by 90%, and you remove that entire burden of developing that IoT stack. So that also reduces about 60% of your development cost. And once the solution goes live, there is about 20% of reduction in their recurring cloud cost and compared to the standard conventional IoT stacks. So far, we have been powering more than 25,000 devices. Each month, we process more than 100 million data points. And these are the biggest segment that from which we have our devices. We have about 11,000 smart street lights controlled and monitored through Anedya. We also have cold chain refrigeration application, as I mentioned in the case study. We also have application in drone telematics. I guess Niharik will be interested in this application. So these are the biggest segments, and we also have startups and other people working on developing applications in industrial automation, electric vehicles, medical devices, robotics. So Anedya is basically use case agnostic. So you can build Industry 4.0 as well as home automation application on this. And it is completely free for students as well. So students can sign up and they can learn about IoT. So they can have a crux of like what industrial IoT the application development looks like. So that's all from my side. So if you have any questions, I will be happy to take that.
Well, truly, thank you, Mark. And truly, the beauty of your solution is it is a use case agnostic, right? And
Yes.
probably, I assume it's user friendly as well, right?
Yes.
So, correct. So we have we have just seen some great startup pitches, each, bringing fresh ideas, perspective to smart manufacturing, AI powered supply chain.
Yeah.
But as we all agree, innovation doesn't stop at ideas. It's about scaling them to, create real impact. So before we wrap up, we'll take the feedback of both the pitches. Let's also take a step back and discuss what's next in Industry 4.0 and how these technologies can shape the future. So Santosh, we'll start with you quickly. We'll also get a quick feedback for both Niharika and Markand. And also, Santosh, after these pitches, we have also seen how startups are using AI, IoT, drones, for example, and automation to drive an Excel transformation. But looking ahead, Santosh, what emerging technologies do you believe? In fact, I am also interested to hear it from you. Do you believe will be very important and critical in advancing the next phase of smart manufacturing? And how is Aditya Birla Group preparing to integrate these innovations like Volar, Alta, or let's say Anedya? You're on mute, Santosh.
Am I audible now?
Yes, loud and clear. Yes, looking
Yeah,
forward. Yes.
thanks for confirming. So yeah, Naman, absolutely. This when we call it the factory of futures, or when we say we are making our factory smart, safe, and sustainable, tomorrow's factory is not just automated. We are dreaming to make it autonomous. Automation is the past ball of game. Now we are looking for the autonomous operation, and the next wave of industry 4.0 will be powered by a lot of the technology essentially we talked on, be it like the drone, IoT platforms, and all. These are the like foundations. Means like a drone technology, the way it's shaping up. Like panelists mentioned that you can do thermographic imaging all across the heat equipment, be it the kiln, be it the stack. You can go up to transmission line to see the hot spots in the transmission lines and all. So these are amazing. It's not only promoting like one part of the the problem, but the multifacets things which you can achieve with these concepts and all. But foundationally, what I believe, which comes with this orchestration and amalgamation of this technology, a robust manufacturing ecosystem should have a very strong industrial data ops where these type of data can remain intact, and they should leverage with and flooded with lot of industrial context. And that is the future of the manufacturing, because industrial AI is not about the only the technology. Now the AI, why we human are different, because we are having the capability to collaborate, which is not happening across any species. And that's why now with the data, this AI and coming agents, they will be able to communicate with each other. So be it in the industry, it may be the reliability agent, be it the quality agent, be it the energy agents. They actually, when they do their own work, they can actually collaborate with themselves and with the human. And that is the ideal, the dream, what the professional workings in the industry 4.0, they see that how it can become autonomous with purpose of purity, right? So I believe the industrial data ops, where you are having all kind of the data with their purposes on the top of the business context, which proper sense of the purity of the purpose, that should be one of the ideal dream one has to have it. Edge AI, where you can create a lot of automations with the data and back it to your processes. That is one of the area one has to work it. And ultimately the AI for sustainability, because everyone talk about data is new oil. For me and most of the professional like us who feel responsible, they see it, data is not only the new oil, it's new air, new water. One has to act responsibly to create the solution. So that's the submission from me, the way I look into the whole
Well, very,
disruptions. And I won't see the disruption. It's all enabler, right?
very interesting take, Santosh. And one thing is pretty clear by now. You are a big fan of, data, managing data, preserving data. And why not? Like you mentioned, data is a new oil, new air, new wave, right? You can't ignore it. Markand, I see your hand raised, but I'll come to you. Just let me bring in Yagandeep once. Yagandeep, let's wrap up with you. Startups, often have brilliant ideas, and but we have seen, translating those ideas into successful enterprise collaboration is another ball game altogether, right? We all agree. From your experience, आप please बताइए, what common mistakes do startups make when pitching to enterprises, and how can, they better position themselves for meaningful partnership? Because आज भी एक pitching हुई, which was a very neat pitch by both the startups. But from your experience, you've been part of lots of pitching sessions. So, question to you is, what common mistake do startups makes when pitching to enterprises?
Sure. Thanks, Naman. I think there are, I would like to highlight the four basic mistakes that startup do while pitching to enterprises. One is they somehow miss the problem solution fit. When I say problem solution fit is startups sometimes focus too much onto their product or onto their solution, but some on focusing on that part, they miss the application part or miss the ROI part, where they should highlight what would be the ROI, what would be the value addition to the industry. And second part I would say is the sometimes over promising and under delivering in some of the cases, where while pitching, while the project is getting started, there have been, we have seen from my experience that in some of the cases they even on to the proof of concept side, uh, without validation, they go on to the part where they include some of the features or some of the parts which would not be feasible or which would not be part of the larger project. Number three, which is very essential here, is the startup should also speak the language of enterprises. They should resonate with the business leaders. They should frame their pitch in terms of what would be the business impact, what we already discussed in this session, how it would do the cost saving, how it would do the efficiency improvement, and how it would do the risk reduction for the enterprises. So these are the things they should include in their pitch. And last but very important part is the compliance. They cannot ignore that framework. Enterprise always would prioritize or give the preference to the startups who are complying to the data security or to the integration requirements. So they should proactively address these questions, or maybe they can even put some of these parts into their pitching as well. So this would be my submission for all our startups.
Well, great, great. That's a great reality check, Yagandeep. Startups often focus too much on tech specification and not enough on business impact, if I have to sum it up. But enterprises like, Aditya Birla or Santosh himself want solutions that solve real pain points, integrate seamlessly and scale effectively, right? On that note, Mark, we'll quickly, take one last call from Markand and Niharika just to close the session. Markand, over to you quickly, just a brief summed up if you want to summarize it. Yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know, like, so as Jagdeep sir mentioned, that the compliances are very important to enterprises. Okay, so generally, what sort of compliances that they are looking for? Apart from this data security, they are the norm. Okay, but any other compliances that we should be aware of, like.
See, what I would suggest is when you are going ahead with any of the pitching on compliance or with the industry, you should see what would be the compliance they are following. Okay, you should study those framework and try to see how your product into that, and how you can make sure that you are following all those compliances, correct? Or Santosh, what would be your suggestion here?
Mute. Santosh, you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry for that. I think it should be in workflow. AI should do something with, face recognition and all, right? So, what my point of view, yes, of course, Yagnadeep, for startups, actually, we are incubating a lot of startup partner. We call it AAA partners, ABZ accredited accelerators. And while it's like a team game, while you tie up with the industry, you learn their language, their semantics and everything. And at the same time, like pharma, they are working with very specific and stringent way of governance, and the way they look their processes, their data and all. Come into petrochemical, they are having like, uh, uh, I'm in the expert panel of lot of industrial automation and industrial data ops company. And the fundamental challenge here they are facing across globe, not only in India or China, that they don't want to send their data beyond India, right? They wanted to have the setups within the ecosystem, and earlier it should be on-prem system. Now they are getting agree that they can send the data, but your data centers or the cloud infrastructure will you should commit that it will remain in India itself. So though there is not any standard, but that is the ask the customer voice is coming because of some of the vulnerability they have in the mind, and that's manner they want to tackle it. And the similar like the tire industries like petrol, like Alta standards, one is most of the chain of the companies following. And similarly the data governance has to be there in that format, right? Many of the company in for their insurance need and all, they are following the FM global standard, right? With that one they need to maintain some of the critical factor into the OT side of the equations. So these type like a startup working into the industrial data domain or industrial IoT and all, they should be very well aware that how they look the whole game. And with that one, you should not only come on the part of the traditional cyber security and governance practices. Otherwise, I mean, it will be very tech centric. When you are coming the industrial game parlance, you will be looking into more the functional safety, functional reliability, and how you can integrate these things into your pitch. That will be going to create a lot of value, right?
Well, wise words. Thank you, Santosh. Anything quickly, 30 seconds, Niharika, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so a couple of things that I take back from Santosh sir's what he said. The fact that the industry is moving towards autonomous systems. So we are also trying to see how currently pilots go on site and do the jobs, but we are already seeing that drones are also now becoming fully autonomous. So we will try to definitely ensure that that becomes a reality in the industrial setup as well. Not just that. Everybody knows that AI agents are taking the world by a storm. So at Volar Alta, we're also kind of looking at implementing the same for the industrial use case. The key here is contextualization. I think many people miss out on that. Detecting a crack is very easy, but that same crack on a cement chimney versus an oil and gas pipeline, right? The implication of that is completely different. Or a nuclear power plant, implication is completely different, right? So at Volar Alta, we're being extremely mindful about that, and Santosh sir has validated. Our strategy. So I'm very happy about the fact that we're on the right track. So thank you for the session, and thank you for inviting me to be part of the panel.
Well, there you have it. The key is contextualization. Well said, Niharika. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Santosh, anything you're adding?
No,
All
no, I
right.
think it's
So,
good. Yeah.
okay, so that's a wrap. What a power packed session we had. We dove into the future of smart manufacturing, AI driven supply chain, and automation. And we also heard from some of the sharpest minds in the industry and witnessed startup pitching like never before, right? Let's take a moment, everyone, to thank our speakers, panelists, Santosh, Yagandeep, Niharika, Markand. I see some disturbance. I would request everyone to mute just for some time. Okay, all right. So thank you once again for bringing in the deep insight, real world experiences, and let's be honest, making complex topics sound way more exciting than our textbooks ever did, right? And a massive shout out to our startup founders, Niharika, Markand, for thinking out of the box. In fact, not just thinking out of the box, but completely redefining what the box look like, right? And of course, and huge thank to all of you, the all of you who attended the session, right? Whether you tuned in from your decks, factory floor, or let's be real, half listening while, scrolling memes as the trend goes. So thank you. Before we go, a quick teaser. If you thought today was insightful, wait till next week. We are diving into the agentic AI next. So expect more bold ideas, cutting edge innovation. Until then, stay curious and stay innovative. And remember, the future isn't waiting for us, it's being built by us. So see you all next time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.